Hey everybody, it's me, Ashley Brooke. So I was talking to my friend this morning. I saw that he was looking at all my videos on here, and I was like, "What are you, just a looky-loo? Like, why haven't you liked any of my videos?" He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry. I was just tripping out because the way you're describing your autism, I recognized those things before, but I didn't realize that you were autistic. I just didn't know. I thought it was me, or and yeah, sure, give her some." Kids are eating chips. I was like, "Well, what things did you notice?" And he's like, "Oh, you weren't very affectionate, and you had compliments. Like, you would get really like shut down, and like kind of like you weren't good with like affection or like any like me trying to show that I had an interest in you." And I was like, "Oh shoot, I didn't even pick up on that." And I was like, "Okay, well, what else?" And he's like, remember that one day we're hanging out in my car, we're having Bud Platinums?" And I was like, "Oh my God, such a long time ago." He's like, "I had put the radio on and you shut it off immediately." I was like, "Oh yeah, repetitive sounds cause me to have seizures." And he's like, "Oh shoot, like it's that bad?" He's like, "I thought you were just like being rude or, tripping out." And I was like, "No, usually people just think I'm mean, or weird or something, but I didn't really share back in the day that I was autistic, so I thought it would be interesting to make a little short video on signs that you might be dating an autistic person." So yeah, so we got those two down, right? So if they shut off the radio immediately, they might be autistic. If they're not good with compliments or affection, or like, if you go on a date with somebody and they're being like super weird when they both like already had an understanding that they were like, had interest in each other enough to hang out alone, right? You might be dating an autistic. If you are already dating a person and you find that your partner is like overly like commenting on every choice that you're making, like feels like they're kind of nitpicking or micromanaging, you might be dating an autistic person. And we're not doing it to be like rude in our perception. I feel like we're trying to be helpful, and we're just like, no, like we can help you, like, and we don't mean any like harm, but we tend to do that a lot. We kind of like tend to like treat everything like it's a project, kind of feels like that for me sometimes. Like when I'm trying to help people, I'm just like, okay, and I'm not paying attention to the emotional like factors and they get involved, or how I can offend somebody or whatever. Another one, I would say, okay, so you might be dating an autistic person if, alright, so if you like take them to your mom's house or take them anywhere, and when they're serving food and they're just like, "Oh, I can't eat that. I don't eat that. No, I can't." And it's like, "Wow, that's my mom's food. Just eat it, like just eat it, Get a little bit." Like, an autistic person has trouble eating lots of different foods, so it'll be noticeable. Like when I would go to get a coffee bean coffee, I would be like, I would get the Black Forest, and I would be like, "Can you, blend it, but not too much. I want the coffee bean in it, but not to where it's like in chunks, and I was like very specific on the texture of how they blend the drink." And then I was like, can you put this in here instead of that? Can you do soy instead of this? And I had so many like substitutions for my drink instead of coffee bean. I would go to McDonald's and order the snack wrap with no chicken. With no chicken, instead of chicken, can you put fries? I would say no sauce, just fries and cheese. They're like, "What? You want fries inside the wrap?" Yes. And like I would order like whatever I would eat anywhere. I had texture issues with meat and stuff, and I would always substitute things for fries. So that might be, if you're going through that and like being like, "Oh my God, like your girlfriend's changing everything, or your boyfriend's changing every menu, like every freaking thing, and like making it super complicated to order anywhere," you might be autistic. What was the other one? Oh yes, this is a big one. Okay, this is a big one that I dealt with my whole life. Well, when I was younger, mostly. once I realized how it could look, and then I started trying to like force myself to change that because I didn't want to be looked at like a psycho. Okay, so so I had like social anxiety, right? So whenever I find someone that I liked, and they would be the one pursuing me first because I was always very shy. And then it would get to a point where like, oh, they want to hang out with their friends, or they want to invite me over to their family like barbecue, or come with the family to dinner or something. I would be like, oh no. I was just like, I would just always be like, oh no, we can just hang out, you know, in your room, or can we eat in your room? Okay, I'm like, I'd always like change the plans to just be like just me and the person that I'm dating, right? I was very shy and very like socially awkward, and I was just trying to make it to where I can feel comfortable to like do this, you know. And just for the record, I was already drinking just so I could do that, just to be with somebody, you know. So then they want to be family and friends. I was like, I can't breathe. So, but what that would look like to a neurotypical is like, oh my god, she's a psychopath. Like, she wants to hide me and isolate me from the world. It's like, no, I'm just autistic. So I did experience that a lot in my years in my youth. It's kind of funny now that I'm older and I look back and I'm like, wow, they must have thought I was a nut job. But it was never really like that. I was jealous at all. I was just socially awkward, and like just hanging out with them alone, even trying to be in a relationship was a big deal enough. So yeah. So if you have a partner that is like that, they may not be jealous. They may just have social anxiety. Might want to look into that. And you want to, you know, you don't want to just automatically, you know, assume that they're psychopaths, okay? We're not all psychopaths. And let's see. I think, let's see what else. You might be dating. That was a big one for me, guys, because I would always isolate. I didn't like birthday parties, even for myself. But that's how much I didn't like anything. I would just freak out, run to a restroom. I'd like, do not look at me all at once. Like, nobody. That's why everyone's like, I have like people that I talk to now from here that I've met through my YouTube channel and through like Facebook support groups and stuff. And they're like, oh, I imagine that you're a very outgoing person. And I was like, yeah, I can be. But I don't know, like, I can be now maybe that I'm older, but then there are some times where I'm just like, I'm having that day, I'm super like awkward and like, I probably won't say much, or like not even want to make eye contact and be like, not even having a thought about like, oh my god, this person's making me uncomfortable, but it's just my own discomfort with myself and how I feel in the world. Like, I feel like an alien, you know, so out of place. So it's not you guys. It's how I feel sometimes. So yeah, I'm trying to think of another one before this stops recording because it kept messing up on me earlier. What am I'm trying to think of another thing that I do that you might be. Oh, I've noticed this about autistics. A lot of us, we actually tend to like children, like be around children a lot. We're actually like, I don't know what it is. We probably just feel more comfortable with kids because they're not like, you know, like so much in our face. I don't know, it might be a thing. Because I know a couple other autistic adults, and they're always like hanging out with, like, they're always like, for some reason, and kids are always drawn to autistic like people. I don't know why. It's probably because we're so cool. I don't know. Just a thought. And trying to think what else. Yeah, I don't like sitting at the dinner table. So that might be another one. They don't want to sit at the dinner table. Oh, they don't really like watching movies. That might be another one. Oh, they're always drinking. Honestly, autistics are twice as likely to become alcoholics. Yeah. Yep. I know quite a few already that have told me that, and I used to drink like that. Now I drink Monsters, and it's how I get through my day. Don't touch me. But those are just some little tips that you might be dating an autistic, and if so, you can ask them, I guess, but just be subtle about it, or just let them come out on their own and tell you. But yeah, just support them. And if you decide that you don't want to date an autistic person, well, then just kindly back out. Don't be an asshole. Sorry, or I'll get you.